Now the Jets have swept Miami the last 2 seasons. They won 4 straight in this series. And we talked about the heat index is close to 100. Slight chance of a stray thunderstorm later today. And I know, Phil, through the years, you've always liked to talk right before opening kickoff about those jitters.
Opening day nerves. They've got to be there for both teams to think about it. The Jets, Brett Favre, the investment, and all the big money free agents. I think they're going to be very nervous. The Miami Dolphins, they're young. They don't know better right now.
Well, it'll be Brett Favre sitting down at the start of this one because the Jets will be kicking. Miami won the toss and wants the football. Devon Bess, there he is. Rookie by way of Hawaii. He's waiting for the kick from Nugent. And it sails down to about the 6. And here we go with Miami. And Bess cuts it back middle, and he squeezes his way out to the 27. Chad Pennington, former first-round pick of the New York Jets. 32-29 in his career as a starter in New York, and now the Miami Dolphins signal caller. You talked about Favre and the expectations for him. What about for Chad?
Well, Chad Pennington, I think the big question today is, or the big job for him, is he knows the Jets so well. Don't try to outthink them. Just be a football player and react to what you see.
It's Ricky Williams, the starting running back, and into a pile after a gain of about 2. It's interesting they have Ronnie Brown back from a very severe knee injury a year ago, and Ricky Williams, who basically played just a couple of snaps last year after a year in Canada. But Ricky Williams comes in here in tremendous shape, and we expect to see him to get the majority of the work today.
Yeah, I think as always with running backs, you kind of get a feel for it. You run them, who's hot, you play them. But Ricky Williams, we talked to him on Friday. Ricky, are you as fast as you were when you came to the league? And he said, absolutely.
It's a 2nd down and 8 from the 29. Go back to Ricky Williams, trying the left side. And Chris Jenkins plugs the hole, the new acquisition for that Jet defensive front. The 3rd and 5 on the way. Let's keep an eye on Jake Long at left tackle. With all these stories circling right now, don't overlook the first pick in the draft is on that line for Miami. Ted Ginn Jr. expected to step up as their #1 receiver this year. And Camarillo gets the call ahead of Derek Hagan, though Hagan will see plenty of action. Jake Long at left tackle. Let's see how he pass blocks. It appears to be that situation here. 3rd down and 5. Anthony Fasano switches to the right side. Good time for Pennington. His first pass is a Dolphin, low and incomplete. He was trying to find Patrick Hobbs. It would have been a first.
Good protection for Chad Pennington, always for a quarterback. The first throw in a game is the toughest one. So he's trying to be careful. You don't want to make a mistake. And it made him guide the football just a little bit. So it made the catch too tough.
So a 3 and out for Miami, and Brandon Fields in to punt. Leon Washington grabs it at the 19. Gets past 2 and then tackled at the 31. Their 50-yard punt. Here comes Brett Favre. In his last game at Green Bay, the wind chill was -23 in that NFC title game as the crowd roars. It's 120 degrees warmer, if you will, going from the wind chill to the heat index.
Well, there's a lot of fans, a lot of Jet fans, and just football fans that are in this stadium day today, and they came just to watch Brett Favre.
After 1 month of work as a New York Jet quarterback, coming in on August the 7th, he arrived. Here he goes, throwing right away, and gets a completion to Lavernius Coles, who steps out after a gain of 6.
Well, as you know, Jim, as you watch him today, all the years that he's played the NFL, you asked him yesterday, and he admitted, hey, going to be nervous. The coaches, they know he's going to be nervous, and they try to get him off to a good start, and what a way to do it with a nice, easy, short throw to the outside.
Brad Smith to the right. On a 2nd down, we'll call it a short 5. We'll go up up the middle with Thomas Jones, and he's about a few yards shy of first. Interesting, he comes right out, though, on first down, and Favre throws to Coles. They have not had a lot of practice time together. Coles has had a leg injury and has been very limited.
Well, you know, I think when you can throw the football, when Dan Marino, I guess he can relate to it. When a guy gets open, he's open. You just fire it in there. But you're right, they haven't worked a lot together. But, you know, we're going back to settling Brett Favre down. You remember early in his career for so long, he came out always a little too fired up, and he overthrew receivers early in the game.
He faces 3rd and 2 from the 39. Looking right now, looking middle. Going to take off and dive for it, and he has the first down. Joey Porter and Channing Crowder were running after him, but Favre still has it.
Yeah, well, he still has it. He doesn't want to use it, though, and this is the last thing you want to do. The more years you play in the NFL as a quarterback, the less you're going to run the football. You move to throw the football down the field, but nobody open. Very good decision by Brett Favre.
So a first down at the 42. They'll run it this time on first down, and able to pop through the hole. It's Thomas Jones. He picks up 6 yards. Should be some openings this year for Thomas Jones. He's excited about it, with Alan Faneca signed in the offseason and Damian Woody also coming over. Coles and Cottre is a very strong combo, and don't overlook either Tony Richardson, the fullback, who has certainly paved the way for a number of 1,000-yard rushers. 5 different players in his career. He was with Minnesota last year. He's not in here now on 2nd down and 3 as they empty out the backfield. They have been an early jump. There is a flag, and the throw is to Dustin Keller, the rookie from Purdue, who has the first down.
Holding, offense number 74. 10-yard penalty and still 2nd down.
So Nick Mangold, the center, called for that.
Jim, you said Nick Mangold inside. Oh, what a start. Jason Ferguson timed the snap count perfectly, gets right around Nick Mangold, and when that happens to an offensive lineman, of course your instinct is to grab, which you should, but also it protects your quarterback.
Leon Washington is in, and he's in a slot to the left. Chancey Stuckey in also. 2nd and 13. Rifled and batted away. Will Allen breaks that one up, intended for Cotchery.
Will Allen is probably the best cover corner on the Miami Dolphins, and the timing just not quite there. Just a little late with the football, and once that receiver hooks up, Cotchery, Will Allen, he knows, hey, he's going nowhere. So good decision, good break on the football, knocks the pass down.
A 3rd and 13. And the blitz. Favre launches it out of bounds. There was a safety blitz. Chris Crocker was coming in. And after moving the chains once, the holding call pretty much ends this opening drive.
From the outside, blitzer comes free. Brett Favre sees it. They're not picking the blitz up, so you do the best thing early in the game. First drive, throw it away.
Ben Graham. It's a long one. Bess stepping back to the 5. To the 15, 20. Sidesteps one and gets out to the 30-yard line. Beautiful speedy run back by Devon Bess. 56-yard punt, but a 24-yard run back. Pennington will start at the 30 when we come back. Second series of the game coming up for Miami. 3 plays and a punt the first time. Favre manages 1 first down, then a punt. And here we go from the 30. Ricky Williams remains the running back. With a play action, Pennington. Oh, and that's over the head of Ricky Williams, who was standing alone. How about a little Phil Simms philosophy here, partner?
Well, I'm always saying things, but today as you look at this game, just a couple key points for the Jets. Everybody, of course, is excited for Brett Favre. Will we see it on the field? And the Miami Dolphins, very young. And one thing usually comes with youth in the NFL, Jim. That's you lose games. Because two things. Inexperience, that always hurts you. And the fact when you're young, you just don't realize you got to fight for 4 quarters. And older guys are just more willing to do it.
It's a 2nd down and 10. This time Williams will get the carry, stacked up for no gain. Eric Barton, the first to hit him, maybe give him a yard. You know, the Dolphins last year got off to just horrible starts in so many games. They had the worst point differential in the league. But that defense able to stop the Jets the first time. And, you know, you talk about the youth, you know, you have a Ricky Williams with his experience, and he's like the last guy still around from when he first got here.
Yeah, but you're right. You look at this Dolphins team, they're going to play it close to the vest. I believe on both sides of the football, and they're going to be patient. And their best asset, their biggest strength is Ricky Williams, I believe, and they'll rely on him as much as they can today.
Vernon Golston, the rookie for the Jets, is in. Pennington going down the field and over the head of everyone. Double coverage on Camarillo. That was Lowry back deep. Well, along with Kerry Rhodes. Chad now 0 for 3, and they're going to have to punt again after 3 plays. Now there's your old coach, the Executive Vice President of Football Operations.
Yeah, Bill Parcells. I will say this. I think the Dolphins have done a terrific job in reshaping their football team in one offseason. They got bigger, stronger, and it showed during preseason.
They've gained 6 yards so far on 6 snaps. It's a driving punt that can be run back by Leon Washington. Runs into a swarm at the 43. 45-yard punt, 19-yard run back. No score first quarter.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Southwest Airlines. Low fares, no hidden fees. The Home Depot, the official home improvement sponsor of the NFL. And by Verizon Wireless.
Jim Nantz and Phil Simms back with you, and you can see temperatures rising on the field at 100. Good starting position here for the Jets from the 44. Vernius Coles is not in. Great play action fake. Favre going long for Cotchery. Cotchery hauls it in at the 10, and he is in for the touchdown. What a fake by Favre.
You could tell during the preseason what little Brett Favre played that the New York Jets were a little enamored with the fact if we pass protect, keep an extra guy in, that we give our receivers a chance to run down and break down pass coverage. And that's exactly what happened. The initial pass coverage was good, but it was so long that it fell apart, and what a throw by Brett Favre.
56 yards for the touchdown.
He flushed it, got every bit of it.
Snap. Good job by Graham getting it down. Touchdown pass in his career, number 443.
The fake so critical because that fake gave him extra time, and he just launched it up in the air. Nice job of waiting on the football by Jericho Cotchery.
I think that's caused a little excitement back in New York as Brett Favre goes deep on the first snap of his second series and hits Cotchery for the touchdown.
Oh boy, you know he's happy. What a relief for just all these years. It's still a relief, but you should have seen the sideline. The Jet coaches, everybody's got a huge investment in this with their emotions and money and everything, and they went crazy as Cotchery went in the end zone.
Little squib kick down to the 20. And Sean Ryan returns it out across the 30.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Cadillac and by Budweiser, Reach for the perfect balance of flavor and refreshment. Budweiser, the great American lager.
Well, the Jets all of last year had only one pass play that was longer than that one. It was a 57-yard pass from Pennington to Coles. This one on just the second series of the game, Favre 56 yards, touchdown to Cotchery. Now for the third time on the field, here come the Dolphins from the 33. And up the middle for about 5 with Ricky Williams.
Jim, let me show you this touchdown. Here's Brad Smith going across the field. Cotchery goes up the field, bends it in and goes out. Most teams go across. That's what Miami thinks. Watch Andre Goodman. He goes, oh, the receiver's going across the field. Oh, no, he's coming back. And it's a universal play, but a little twist right there by the Jets. And that's what you do with a quarterback like Brett Favre. You design new plays, and it's, what do you get? You get discipline and talent, you get big plays in the NFL.
Ronnie Brown is in, and here he goes with a handle, his first, and he drives the legs. Nice piece of running behind Boomer Grigsby for 7 yards and a first down.
Well, you talk about play action fakes. What does it do? The line sells it. They fire out all that extra time, and look at Brett Favre rearing back. Look down the field. Andre Goodman now goes, oh no, I passed him off too quick. And I'll tell you, Brett Favre got every ounce. He, as I would say, he hit that driver as far as he could hit it, Jim.
You said he flushed it.
He flushed it.
Miami picks up its first down of the game on the 7-yard run by Ronnie Brown, who stays in the game. Pennington works the middle and almost intercepted by Revis. That pass thrown in the direction of Ted Ginn Jr.
Yeah, it's tough. This is going to, hey, Chad Pennington is just going to have to get used to this. He's got young wide receivers down the bottom of your screen. You got to go in front. Oh no, you go behind and the quarterback is just going, drop it. And Darrelle Revis wasn't expecting it and dropped the football.
We talked again this week and a number of the other players, and they all just marveled at the way Pennington has been like a coach on the field in the short time that he's been here, telling guys what they're doing right and wrong. It's a 2nd down and 10 from the 46. And that's a completion. His first completion of the game goes for a loss of a yard to Ricky Williams. You can see the GU for Gene Upshaw emblazoned on the field here at Dolphin Stadium. The players are wearing a patch in memory of the Hall of Fame guard for the Oakland Raiders, but the player union leader for so many years who passed away on August the 20th at his home near Lake Tahoe. Being remembered all around the league here in this opening week. 3rd down and 11. Patrick Cox comes in as the 3rd down back. Working the sideline, and that was back over in the area of Ginn, but Revis just all over him. Well guarded right there.
I'll tell you this, so Chad Pennington told us on Friday he was worried. He knew the Jets would not respect their wide receivers. They would be up on them and be aggressive, and that is what has happened here early. They are not worried about the deep throws. They're pressing them at the line of scrimmage, and the Dolphins receivers are not getting open.
Fields off the side of the foot this time, brutally bad. I mean, that's just around the, where are they going to spot it? Near the 43. And that's, remember, Fields' last punt had been the line drive that Washington ran back a long way. Just a 9-yard punt. There he is, Gene Upshaw, enshrined in the Hall of Fame back in 1987. His achievements as both a player and a union leader. He remembered by so many around this league, so many years. Well, the Jets actually will start at the 46 after a shank that traveled only 9 yards. Leon Washington, the running back. He'll get the handoff, and it advance it just into Miami territory, but a flag. Brett Favre was decked after the exchange. Matt Roth hit him. And he's going to get flagged for that.
Oh, yeah. And are you talking about a young team making every mistake that you hope they don't if you're the coach? The punts, the mistakes by the defense, and this. Brett Favre hands it off, carrying out his fake. And Matt Roth just knocks him down.
Yeah, watching Favre, he was a little shaky. Walking it off right now, but the penalty will put the football at about the 34 of the Dolphins.
Well, when you're carrying out fakes, Jim, I will say this. You're relaxed. The last thing you expect is to get hit and decked.
I used to hear you guys always say it's always good to get that first hit. I don't think that's what he was talking about. That one knocked him woozy for a second. And it's Leon Washington with a burst to about the 30. We got an update on Kansas City and New England. Hello to you, James Brown.
And Jim, hello back, you and Phil. The Patriots faithful holding their collective breath. That because of this. Take a look at Tom Brady's left leg, hit there by Bernard Pollard, bent back awkwardly. Brady left the field injured. We'll have an update as it becomes available. Matt Castle's in right now. Back to Jim Nantz and Phil Simms.
Oh my goodness. Boy. Wow. Jet fans instantly probably think of that Vinny Testaverde year in the first quarter of game 1 back in 1999. Far middle, complete, 16-yard line. That's Bubba Franks, his old Packer teammate, for 14 yards.
Well, I think they know how to connect with each other. And there's just so much to talk about on this play. Watch Brett Favre moving, stays back, falls back, throws off his back foot. And look, I say this every year, you can't do that. You won't play in this league as a quarterback. But he does it very well, right on target to Bubba Franks.
Thomas Jones lined up in the eye. First down, 16-yard line. And it's going to Jones. And a dive ahead for about 2. Tackle by Matt Roth. This is a Miami defense without a Zach Thomas or Jason Taylor presence since those two since 1996.
Yeah, Jim, you see this shifting by the tight ends. What the Jets are doing, they want to switch over, and they're trying to get Joey Porter on the tight end more. Joey Porter likes to go away as an outside linebacker to the weak side, so they're trying to switch it over and run their running plays at what they think is the easier guy to run on, and that is Joey Porter.
They go shotgun on 2nd and 7. In zone low, intended for Lavernius Cole. Pretty close. Will Allen defending.
This is open by NFL standards. This is wide open. You kind of said it, Jim. Just the timing, getting used to it. Lavernius Cole, maybe Cole's the biggest thing. He's just not got the practice time. And receivers, they're like shooting guards. You got to keep doing it to keep in rhythm. So it's got to be tough for Lavernius Cole.
Favre has a lot of respect for him. He says, I just would have liked to have been able to have more than 2 days of work with him. That's about all we've had. 3rd and 7. And that one's incomplete in the area of Cotchery. That'll bring out Mike Nugent, who's never missed here at Dolphin Stadium in his career. He's 8 for 8. Including 4 for 4 last year. Coming off a solid season a year ago, including a game winner against Pittsburgh. This will be 32 yards with Graham on the hold. No. Wide right, but a flag. There is a flag. Was 4th and 7. Let's see the penalty. Jeremiah Bell walking off the field.
Now that'll break the rhythm of the New York Jets.
Taya Nugent was hobbling after the kick. Watch Nugent. Another high snap. Remember, Graham got it down on the PAT. He may have planted awkwardly on that left leg.
Well, everything, Jim, was going against the Miami Dolphins, and that's a lift to the players on the sideline, even the coaches, knowing you're not down 2 scores.
Ronnie Brown, the running back. First down and 10, ball at the 22. Play action fake Pennington. There's the completion. Brown has it near the 30. Eric Barton rides him down. Get the fully customizable keeper league you've always wanted with Fantasy Football Commissioner. It's at cbssports.com/fantasy. So Ronnie Brown doesn't start the game. Ricky Williams goes the majority of the first 2 series, but hey, he's shown a couple of quick moves. Ronnie Brown, 1 rush, little catch there for 7.
Well, coming off a major surgery of last year, it takes a while. They worked him hard in the preseason, and he did get better every single week during those games.
Second down and 3 on the delay. The give is to Brown. He's backed up. Initially hit by David Harris. You know, through 6 weeks last year, he led the league in yards from scrimmage. He was having a huge statistical year, and then blew out the knee in week 7. It was major surgery. One thing that's distracted him a little bit here in camp, he's also got a bruised thumb on his right hand, so you can see the soft cast. He says it's been good for him. It's created in a way a distraction where he doesn't have to think about the knee at all times. He comes out on 3rd and 2. Patrick Cobbs again playing the role of the 3rd down back. There's Camarillo. First catch by a wide receiver on the Miami side, and Dwight Lowry pushes him out. First down, Dolphins near midfield.
Yeah, 2 things that the Dolphins did very well on this play. They moved the pocket, but more importantly, they moved the wide receivers. They put Camarillo right behind the other wide receiver, and that lets him get wide open. And when you want to get away from a rush or a team that blitzes a lot, well, move the pocket so the defenders do not know where the quarterback is going to be. And a very good throw by Chad Pennington on the run.
Ronnie Brown returns to the backfield. Set back at the 39. Final minute and a half of the first quarter. They go end around with Ginn. And not much there, as Dwight, the rookie from San Jose State, did a great job of fighting off a block. He gets to start here today because Justin Miller's banged up and inactive.
Yeah, it's a good call by the Dolphins. The Jets have been aggressive, but they didn't guess right. This is a zone coverage, so the Dwight Lowry is going nowhere. He's just sitting there waiting. Tough for Devon Best to make that block, and nowhere for Ted Ginn Jr. to run.
It's up 2 yards. Smart play there by Dwight Lowry, their 4th rounder. Derek Hagan in as a receiver for Miami. 2nd down and 8. Pulls it in and able to scamper for the first before Eric Barton makes the hit. Sperano singled out Best when we met with him on Friday as the biggest training camp surprise.
Yeah, Jim, free agent wide receiver from Hawaii. You think he ran a few routes and caught a few passes down there
Colt
Brennan and June Jones, and that was a good example. He just knows how. Watch this, goes in the air, jumps, turns his body and gets both hands on the football, makes the catch, and he was all over the practice field when we watched him on Friday.
First time in Jets territory today. And a timeout call with 13 seconds to go in the quarter. Confusion, and the veteran wants to settle it down and have everyone on the page.
Miami Dolphins and Chad Pennington really settling down and getting in rhythm in the groove and not panicking after the bad start that they had.
Pennington 3 for 3 on this drive. Here's the toss, and that's Brown Falling forward near the 35. It'll be 3rd and 2 when we start the next quarter.
Good play.
Or 2nd and 2. This 8-yard run there by Ronnie Brown. 7-0 Jets. Will return after these messages. You're watching the NFL on CBS.
One, two, three. It's game time.
We start the second quarter with the Jets leading 7-0 on the far 56-yard hookup with Jericho Cotchery. But Miami driving for the first time in this game. Jim Nantz and Phil Simms. As you pointed out a couple of times, momentum shift here after a Jets missed field goal.
Yeah, big time. And I'll say this too. We talked to Tony Sparano on Friday. He goes, you know, my guys, it's a pretty tough team. And coaches don't just throw that word around. They're young and they've coached them tough.
That's Ricky Williams picking up a first. On a 2nd and 2 carry, gain 6.
That looked pretty quick. I liked it. I was watching a TV show and, oh, Ricky Williams, it's over. I go, well, did you pay attention? Did you? I have seen the Dolphins play. I saw him once in preseason in person. And Ricky Williams didn't have a great game statistically. But all I remember when it was over going, boy, when he gets in his hands, he is the fastest person on the field. And it looks like that here again today.
From the 30. And that's Williams shifting out of the backfield. Bubba Franks at the 10. Oh, that's a play those two are accustomed to working on. That's David Martin. Beg your pardon. I'm thinking 88 and Franks from the old days in Green Bay is what we're talking about.
Up the field. David Martin. It was the motion by Ricky Williams which created the uncertainty on defense. It was a very good formation, well thought out, and that allowed Martin to go up the field untouched and unnoticed, and a nice pass by Chad Pennington.
They have a 1st and goal at the 7. We had our little bet about which one would get confused with Pennington and Clark. And you win from the 7. Ricky Williams to the 5. It's interesting. You were talking about the speed you saw out of Ricky Williams, but Ronnie Brown, I think, also was partly responsible. A couple of carries on this drive and a catch out of the backfield. Showing a little bit more speed than some people were letting on around that Miami organization this week.
You know, Jim, it's a new, what's the word for it? There's a couple of new sheriffs in town in Miami, and they push the players. We heard it from Joey Porter. They're honest. It's pressure in practice. I go, I've heard all these before. And Tony Sparano is doing that. So they want more out of Ronnie Brown, and he kept giving it to him, and we're seeing the end result today.
2nd and goal from the 5. Pennington's pass batted down, reaching around again. It's that rookie Lowry making the play and knocking it down away from Greg Camarillo.
Yeah, that was really a good job, and not like college football. In the NFL, you can put your free hand on the receiver. Lowry does, but he doesn't do anything to be called pass interference, and he takes his other hand, the left one, knocks the football down, textbook on how to defend a pass when the receiver's in front of you.
They brought Best back in, the rookie receiver. That's Best shifting around in motion, doubling back.
Yeah, they're going to try to throw it to him.
3rd and goal. Pennington's pass, caught, touchdown, Anthony Fasano.
What a drive.
Of a Parcells guy, Sparano guy, if you will, scores the first touchdown of the season for the Dolphins. They traded for him in the offseason. Former Cowboy tight end brings it in from 5 yards out.
Good pass protection. The defense unraveled. That's why he hit the open Fasano for the touchdown.
Carpenter adds the extra point. Fasano ties the game with the 5-yard hookup with Chad Pennington. 7-7. How about that drive? 11 plays, 78 yards. Pennington, 5 completions to 5 different receivers. The big one to David Martin, and then the touchdown to Fasano.
The big thing was the formations, Jim, the movement by the offensive players that made the Jets. When you move as receivers and tight ends and running backs, the first thing a defense does, it backs up and goes, uh-oh, what are you trying to do to us? And when you get a defense backing up and guessing, that's where you find the spaces. It makes it a lot easier for the quarterback.
Carpenter kicks. Knuckleball goes out of bounds.
What about this kicking game I heard so much about?
That's a rookie kicker coming off the field. Free agent, undrafted out of Montana.
Well, they'll take the steam out of your team quick.
Timeout on the field. 7-7. Jets and Dolphins.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by CareerBuilder.com. Start building. FedEx, your ultimate NFL air and ground player. And by Viagra.
That Miami touchdown, Phil, take another look at it.
Well, here's Anthony Fasano. Watch Eric Smith. He's back here. He is the one you think the spacing, he might have him. Initially, they cover it. They all go to Devon Best, who goes inside. It creates confusion, and Chad Pennington, because of the good protection, hangs on to the football a little longer and then finds Fasano open in the end zone for the touchdown.
It was on a 3rd and goal. Coming to CBS Tuesday, September 23rd, an investigator who reads between the lies. Simon Baker, the mentalist. On CBS, we get the Cheeseheads, South Florida version of it.
Expected to see them about everywhere you go this year, probably.
Question. So after the kick goes out of bounds, that puts the football at the 40. Thomas Jones finds a seam, and Jeremiah Bell in the secondary makes the tackle, but a gain of 13. We've got an update again on the Chiefs and the Patriots. Back to JB in New York.
Hey, Jim and Phil, Matt Castle, the backup quarterback, criticized for his poor preseason play, delivers here, drilling this one to Randy Moss in the back of the end zone. Castle 5 of 6, 73 yards and a touchdown. Patriots on top 7-0, that in the second. Tom Brady, questionable return. Back to Jim and Phil.
All right, James, that was the completion of a 99-yard drive by Castle. Moss already over 100 in that game. First down, Jets from the 47. Set up a screen, Thomas Jones, and runs out of real estate. Aiken Adele with the hit after a gain of 2.
You know, Jim, you brought up a good point as we were talking to Thomas Jones yesterday. You just said, are you excited about Brett Favre? And then all of a sudden you go, that maybe defenses will drop back and look to cover the receivers more, and they'll give you more space. I don't think he quite thought of it that way yet.
Well, you would think there would be, plus with the acquisitions of Faneca and Woody, added experience now, another year for Ferguson and Mangold. Jones coming off an 1,100-yard year. He could have a big season. It's a 2nd down and 8. Underneath they go. Leon Washington for 4. Will Allen with the immediate contact. So now we're getting a little rhythm of the game. And again, the Jets had a chance. They were driving. Had a throw into the end zone. It was a little low. Cole's unable to make the catch. Could have been 14-0. Missed a field goal from 32. Dolphins drive back. Suddenly their offense finds a little life and a beautiful drive, and the game's tied. It's a 3rd and 4, and there's some energy here in Dolphin Stadium. In the pocket, pass zip to Cotchery, and he's down at the 30. It bobbled, but they ruled him down. He recovered it anyway. Gain of 11 to Cotchery.
Good term, zip. That's what Brett Favre does. In the pocket, They give him room to step up. He looks to the right and then looks left. And Brett Favre can wind it up and get rid of it with the best of them. And the starting streak not being and starting so many consecutive games, that's a tribute to, of course, good teams and able to get rid of the football.
Getting outside, Thomas Jones. Now that was a good piece of running. Looked like he might get stacked up for nothing and gains 8 instead. Well, you go over the last 2 or 3 years, and his totals are 5th best in the league. Talking about Thomas Jones. Had only 1 rush touchdown all of last year, and that came in this building, in this house. He has a home here, by the way, in Miami. Played here in the Super Bowl 41 for the Bears. Had a 100-yard performance as the Colts defeated him that day.
Yeah, he's been down and visiting his home. Hadn't been there in quite a while, of course. Been a little busy at training camp.
2nd and 2, Favre. Pass almost intercepted. Good job by Contry to help break it up. Will Allen nearly made the theft.
Yeah, really good decision by Brett Favre. I don't know if Jericho Contry was expecting the football. He does the double weave. Yeah, he was. He was just trying to sell it. And then just terrific play to knock the football down. One thing the Jets are doing, Will Allen, like I said, good ball skills. Jets going up the field anytime they get man-to-man coverage, trying to make big plays.
3rd and 2. Jones slicing and picking up the first. Running behind Brandon Moore. Picks up 4 and a first. He became last year, Thomas Jones. Here's his 1 touchdown here at Miami. So his only touchdown as a Jet didn't even really come in what we know as a Jet uniform today.
Yeah.
Okay. So.
I know those are some of your favorite throwback uniforms there.
You would never guess, would you?
Yeah.
The first player in the history of the league to rush for 1,100 yards and rush for only 1 touchdown. On 1st down, as intended for Coles, and a reach around, no flag. Andre Goodman breaking it up.
I'll tell you what, they are doing a good job of hanging with these New York Jet receivers. Everybody going to the right, single receiver on the backside. That's a nice play by Andre Goodman. And the one thing, Brett Favre's favorite pass, favorite route by receivers is that slant. You saw him do it for all those years in Green Bay. The Jets didn't really like to do it, but they found a way to put it in their offense now.
Favre faces now 2nd down and 10. Coles has 1 catch. That was on the Jets' first snap. Oh, they're in on Favre quickly, and they get him. Kendall Langford with the sack. He came bursting through almost untouched.
Yeah, he ran a little game, maybe the Jets offensive line made a mistake up front. They did. Thomas Jones saw it, tried to correct it, but it was just too quick. Langford gets in before Brett Favre can get rid of it. And then you talked about it. It's a veteran offensive line. They understand the schemes. They see the big picture, but not that time.
If they don't pick up the first, they got to get all the way to the 9. You wonder if Nugent, who was limping after missing that last field goal, if he'll be able to go. 3rd and 17 underneath Jones, and unable to run away from Jeremiah Bell. Picks up only 4.
Tell you what, Jim, you're right. I think the Jets might go for it here.
This would be only about a 40-yard field goal. Nugent has been at times warming up over there, kicking into the net. But I mean, you're gonna bypass a 40-yard field goal and go for it on 4th and 13.
Well, that's it. That's big. It's a handicap. It just changes everything for the New York Jets today if they don't have a field goal kicker.
Wow. I see Mangini running down looking for the timeout and gets it.
Good
timeout
call.
called first. So timeout Jets. First one they've used. 7 minutes to go, 2nd quarter. 7-7. There you see Mike Nugent still on the sideline, had the helmet on, thought he was going to be called in. He's got a thigh injury. And they're going to go for it instead of bringing out Nugent. 4th and 13 from the 22 of Miami. Big rush. Favre gets away, lobs it in the air. Someone's there. Oh, it's caught at the goal line for a touchdown. He puts up a jump ball, and Stuckey brings it down for the score. Remarkable. That ball was in the air for what felt like 5 seconds. And they've got the offensive unit out there to go for 2. So this Nugent situation is that serious.
Well, you know, my question is, before we talk about the touchdown, Ben Graham, the punter, most of them can at least kick extra points.
Jets are going for 2. Broken up by Crowder. 4th and 13 and a touchdown pass to Chancey Stuckey.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Sears. This season, find everything you need to fall forward only at Sears. And by Nissan, who invites you to shift the way you move through the world.
And you see Stuckey stepping up, first-year player out of Clemson, who hauls it in on the goal line, waiting for it. Some nifty ball handling, if you will, by Favre. And this was a striking resemblance, if you will, as you see Graham's going to be handling the kickoff chores to Eli Manning and David Tyree in the Super Bowl. Maybe it's a New York thing. I don't know. Wow, that was a dreadful kick. Has it out to the 47.
Well, a couple things we'll talk about, Jim, but first the touchdown. Brett Favre, look at his Starks, gets right around Brandon Moore. Brett Favre switches the football to his left, to his right, and then, you know, here's what's impressive. Knowing the situation, 4th down, just throw it up. That's what he does. I don't even know if he sees Stuckey. To me, I think he's throwing it to the back of the end zone. But the Miami Dolphin players are chasing receivers in the end zone, watching Brett Favre, and they lose Stuckey, who's right in the middle of all of them.
Favre's 2nd touchdown pass of the game. Run it to Ronnie Brown and moves a pile for about a yard. You know, why not just throw it up in the air? Because if it gets picked, it was 4th down anyway.
Yeah, that's right. And that's as I always said, I circled the wrong guy. He was the inside receiver. But that's what you do as a quarterback, Jim. You think about a situation sometimes before the snap going, okay, if I get in trouble, just heave it up there.
But Nugent unable to even, well, it was a break. Now you look at it in one regard. They bypassed a 40-yard field goal, 39-yard field goal try. But then, of course, they can't even attempt the kick after. Now, does this at all look familiar to you, Phil? A little flashback, heavy rush.
Yeah, there are some similarities.
Yes, there are players draped all over them, and then just Hail Mary toss, if you will, and then an unheralded wide receiver, in that case and this case. Tyree brings it down for the crucial 1st down.
Yeah, one just happened to be in the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
You know, it was. But, you know, going back real quick, the extra point, I can see turning down a 40-yard field goal. But the extra point, that's a, I think did you even say that you could kick the extra point?
You can't tell me there's not somebody on that sideline that can't kick it through from 20 yards, you know, 20 yards distance.
I agree.
I'll try now. I'll show you next week.
I'm going to take you out. Don't worry.
Pennington, look out. And that was Sean Ellis getting to him first.
Of course, after seeing Ben Graham's kickoff, I'm not sure either, Jim, but that time the New York Jets, as you watch, look at all the guys standing up, and that's what they try to do on third downs. As Chad Pennington said, it's anybody's guess what they're going to do. They get everybody up there. The Miami Dolphins offensive line young. They can't make the adjustments, and they sack Chad Pennington.
First sack of the game for the Jets defense. Rough day for the kickers and punters. And this one mishandled, picked up though by Washington. And out to about the 21. Fields' kick goes 41 yards, 8-yard run back. October the 9th on CBS. If you like CSI, stick around for 11th hour series premiere again, the 9th of October. Well, Phil, coming up, we got the Sprint halftime report. JB, Dan, Shannon, and Boomer, Coach Cowher, all the scores and highlights, plus a little info on that Brady injury. Crew was up in New England. You saw them on the pregame show. And they're going to tell us a little bit more about that scene, that CBS scene.
CBS scene.
And coming up as well, a report on the U.S. Open. Update on the Sprint halftime report. 4.5 to go, first half. Handed off, fake the end around. That's Vonnie Holiday snuffing that one out for a loss of 4.
I think it was a reverse, and they decided not to hand it off because I was watching Brett Favre. He looked like he was going to block.
You look at Pennington's numbers, 6 of 12 after a really slow start. And that stellar drive resulted in a touchdown pass to Pisano. Big numbers for Favre, 118 yards, 2 scores.
Yeah, both quarterbacks so well. They got to be happy. They played pretty well.
Second down, 14. Running start this time. Thomas Jones takes it up to the 25 into the arms of Joey Porter and Channing Crowder. Porter and Crowder before the game, they found themselves in a little bit of a fracas with Brian Cox.
Joey Porter in a shouting match?
What's that?
Really?
He didn't get to talk a lot of trash last year, did he?
Yeah, go ahead. That's what he said. You asked him that question.
Wasn't a chance to really. It must have been something coming off a Super Bowl win to 1-15. He says, yeah, that shut me up.
He's got a lot to say this year if they play well.
Here it was. Look, he didn't like. It was Nugent again, by the way. He didn't like Nugent being in their area during warm-ups. So a little jawing going on. It's a 3rd and 5. Favre not going to get away this time. That's Joey Porter.
Joey Porter on the outside, matched up with a tight end, and when that happens, he's one of their best pass rushers. The Jets coming into this game, they said we got to take care of the 2 big outside linebackers, Joey Porter and Matt Roth.
Again, back to field this one and bobbles it right out of bounds. Rams punt is 48 yards. It was a good one. Coming to CBS, a comedy that hits home. Gary Unmarried is coming to CBS Wednesday, September 24th. Jay Moore stars in Gary Unmarried. You know, it's not very often, though, this kicker situation, which, you know, how this is going to play out the rest of the way, that you don't have one guy that you think in a pinch, one guy that can at least go out there and kick an extra point.
So from now on, we go to these meetings and talk to coaches.
That's my first question.
Who's your backup kicker?
That's my first question. we actually contacted the Jets staff, and the answer came back to us, we don't know either. Pennington in trouble. Wrestled down. Brian Thomas takes us to his former teammate.
With both teams putting pressure on the quarterback, Chad Pennington, they do everything. It's play action. They have a guy going in motion, trying to give him more time, but Brian Thomas beats his man right away and gets the sack.
Quickly back to the line as we approach the 2-minute warning. Williams, nice grab, down by the shoelaces. And he falls out with the ball stripped out at the 30. Kellen Clemens has decided to go over there and see if he can help the team. Pushed out of bounds, by the way, Ricky Williams with 2:01. And Mike Nugent is over there trying to place it on the prong. 2-minute warning. In fact, is here. Kellen Clemens, he's been going between straight on and little
that looked pretty
soccer
good.
Style. That one looked good, but there have been a couple that were almost right of the net. So he had a brief tutorial from Mike Nugent. And I think we've found now the Jets' backup place kicker. 2 minutes to go. Each team with 2 timeouts. And it's a 3rd and long. 3rd and 12 for Pennington. All kinds of time. And hit right on the release. David Bowens. So the Jets will likely have a chance to do something here. Well, particularly with the troubles that Brandon Fields has had punting the football.
Yeah, you know what happened here is nobody's open down the field. You go, oh, he looks open. No, the Dolphins keep extra guys in to pass protect. When you do that, you get double covered down the field.
This is a good one by Fields. All the way down to the 17. Washington running it back across the 30-31 yard line. 54-yard boot, 14-yard return. Again, coming up the Sprint halftime report, JB, Dan, Shannon, Boomer, and Coach Cowher, all the latest scores and highlights from around the league. I mean, how about the way Atlanta has jumped out on Detroit? At one time it was 21-0, and Michael Turner putting up some big yardage, and Matt Ryan throwing a 62-yard touchdown on his first pass.
Long way to go. Long way to go in that game.
All the latest coming up on the Sprint halftime report. Hey, Brett Favre back to running a 2-minute drill. He's going to go back to the left side, and that's wide of Stuckey. Well, Phil, your thoughts on what you've seen here out of the Jets offense?
Jets offense, I've been impressed. Varied. You know, they've done everything, Jim. When they've run it pretty well, and they're throwing it down the field. What they can't do, they don't seem to be able to get anybody open running the short routes. The Miami Dolphins defense has locked them up pretty good underneath. They might have to start moving receivers around too to help them out, to help them get open.
Ball loose. Favre picks it up. Hold on.
I got green.
Let's see about this recovery.
Yeah. And he dropped it.
Has the hands up. Recovery by the Jets. We've had only one play in this game longer than 15 yards. The touchdown. And that's not right. They had both touchdown passes.
Well, Brett Favre fumbles the snap, and I think it comes out here again. Yes. I don't know if his knee was down. Doesn't matter. The Jets recovered it.
Mangini letting the clock run down now, under a minute, with facing 3rd and long. He's going to let the clock run. Holes to the left. Patry wide right. They go run. And that did not fool anyone. That was Leon Washington with the carry, and Channing Crowder with the tackle. Now there's a timeout called by Miami. Timeout Dolphins. 34 seconds left in the quarter. Now Chad Pennington might get a chance himself to try to put something together here before the half.
Yeah, that'll be contingent on a lot of things, but it'll need a good return to think about even taking a chance.
Yep.
You know, it's many little things as the Dolphins did wrong in the first half. They're fortunate to be down 13-7.
A kick it only flies to the 40. Gets a generous jet bounce and is down at the 41. Signal Miami ball after a 28-yard punt.
That was the one thing that the Miami Dolphins wanted to do. They wanted to get their kicking game in order, and they wanted to be very good on special teams. That's how they kind of start building this team, and that's Hill from the outside just never slows down, keeps coming, and gets the block.
Ronaldo Hill. Of course, now they'll take a chance from the 41, but you might have thought about taking one anything outside the 20 when you know that the Jets don't even have a place kicker anyway, you know? Changes the whole mindset.
It does.
22 seconds to go here.
Got to know that as a coach, of course, and you manage the game accordingly on both sides.
With a flag down, cuts back inside, slides all the way to the 35, but very likely coming back.
Now, believe it or not, Jim, one of the things that the Jet coach has brought up to me, Chad is not afraid to take off and run. He knows when to.
Tripping. Offense number 77.
Yeah, that's the
10-yard penalty. It's still first down.
Jake Long.
Well, you said first-round draft pick. What to talk about him today, and it's going to be in a bad situation, which might end up costing the Miami Dolphins points.
That would have been the longest run of Pennington's career. Wow. 25 yards.
But Jake Long, left tackle, like you said, first-round draft pick. Here at the bottom of your screen. Yeah, he's beat, and I tell you what, that was a stick out my leg like a veteran. You're like, oh, I'm going to do it. Maybe they won't notice. But as you can see on TV, it's pretty easy to pick out.
So they'll snap it at the 31, 13 seconds. They'll go run. Ricky Williams. He lost the ball. Recovered by the Dolphins. Satella, the center. And that'll end the half.
Well, the Jets go in and try to straighten out their kicking situation. And the Dolphins go in and just go, can we make any more little mistakes?
There were plenty, weren't there?
There were.
Into the first half, the score, Jets 13, Dolphins 7. Sprint halftime coming up after this message and a word from your local station. We're getting set for the second half, with the Jets leading behind a couple of Brett Favre touchdown tosses. Miami's touchdown, a Pennington throw to Fasano. 13-7 is the score. An exciting but mistake-filled first half. Favre with that 56-yard bomb to Jericho Cotchery in the opening quarter. Pennington able to get the touchdown toss of his own. Third quarter in a minute here. The NFL on CBS continues.
Started with a big bang. New season begins CBS Monday, September 22nd.
We live in challenging times. And while it's easy to point out problems,
it'll be the Jets receiving the second half kick. And a reminder, this game is brought to you in high definition here on CBS. 13-7 New York lead. Carpenter's already kicked one that sailed out of bounds. That will not be returned by Leon Washington. So a lot of stories here. The quarterbacks have both played well here, Phil, in the first half. The kicking dilemma for the New York Jets. Where do you want to begin?
I don't know. There are a lot of stories. Of course, the quarterbacks are big, but as I watched the game, the Jets, the veteran team, the Miami Dolphins, they're young, and their miscues were numerous. As I said, well, both teams are playing pretty well, but the Dolphins' kicking game, some penalties, open receivers miss. That was big. They were very fortunate, I thought, to overcome it.
Now the Jets will snap it here at the 20.
Here we go.
Neither team able to even pick up a single first down the last 7 minutes of that first half. Jones tumbles for about 2.
Now you talk about all these miscues in the first half, Phil.
Here's where we begin.
Yeah, it was miscommunication with the wide receiver, letting Brett Favre get away from Starks and then kicking it out of bounds. So these mistakes that are hard to overcome. And then when you get a chance to score before halftime, Jake Long trips the defender.
Jones shakes free. They had him by the ankles. He escaped Langford and runs it for 15 yards.
Anything in the first half numbers that dazzled you here, Phil?
Well, one thing that kind of stood out as the game started going on, Jim, was the sacks and then the pressure both defensive lines were putting on the opposing quarterback. That's something I'm going to keep an eye on. Both teams play a lot of defensive players, so they should be able to stay fresh, even though they're playing more than usual, and the sun and the heat.
Up the middle they go, and that's Jones twisting out to the 42 for a gain of 5 yards. Jones now up to 63 yards rushing in the game, and here are the numbers for the quarterbacks.
Yeah, as I said in the first half, pretty solid performance by both quarterbacks. Brett Favre, of course, fortunate with the 1 touchdown pass.
That's Jones. Boy, a good piece of running here by Jones coming out of the locker room.
Yeah, it's one of those things you go inside at halftime and the coaches go, okay, we're winning the game 13-7, that's good. But we got to get more physical. We got to start running the football. That's where we should dominate, and that's what you expect. The Jets, they put a lot of money in their offensive line. They got first-round draft picks, free agents, a free agent running back. You expect to dominate every once in a while.
Now they go to Leon Washington, and he is wrapped up right away by Jason Ferguson, and a loss of 2.
Jason Ferguson, one of the better inside defensive linemen in the NFL. When you're talking about knowing how to stop the running game, he'd be in the top 5 of everybody's list.
Showing it right there. Lavernius Coles has been shifting in and out of the lineup. He's back into the huddle now for the Jets. 1 catch for 5 yards. And he'll line up wide right. Country comes over to his side on 2nd down and 12. Favre steps up. Open man at the 30. That's Chris Baker. Well, they set it up with the run after run after run, and that was wide open for 29.
Well, they did so many things to set it up. So many times it's confusion that gets you going. And what they do is they get Justin Keller to the outside. Oh, it's a nice move. That's what it is. Chris Baker against Channing Crowder, fake like he was going outside. He turned it up. And that's what you do against defensive backs, linebackers, whoever, who are being too aggressive and trying to cover too close.
Favre now, Phil, has connected with 7 different receivers in the game. Got a new set of downs from the 24. Oh, look at that move to shake free. From behind, they come and knock the ball loose. Ball bouncing around and recovered at the 10-yard line by Aiken Adele. Matt Roth came from behind and knocked it out of the hands of Favre.
Terrific job by Brett Favre getting away from the pass rush. But in this league, always know that somebody is going to be chasing you from behind. He lost sight of Matt Roth, and Matt Roth gets the fumble.
We are back, and Eric Mangini had a discussion with Mike Carey, and I think there's a challenge.
The ruling on the field is a fumble. It's being challenged by New York.
Mangini's going to challenge the fumble, the Roth strip of Favre that was recovered by Aiken Adele.
The NFL on CBS is
they were reviewing, was it a forward pass or a fumble? And Phil, you feel like there's no doubt about this one. Mike Carey has taken a couple of peeks at it.
Yeah, it's he's raring back to throw the football. The arm is never coming forward. Matt Rolfe knocks it out before Brett Favre has a chance to really get the forward motion going. So it should be rolled a fumble, and as they called it on the field.
After review, the ball was knocked loose out of the quarterback's hand before any forward motion. Therefore, the ruling on the field is correct. New York will be charged with their first team timeout.
Well, the Jets lose a timeout, and Miami takes over the football at the 11. That's the first turnover of the game. Remember, it was Favre who had that personal foul penalty that hit on Favre in the first half.
That's right. Matt Rolfe did, yes.
Rolfe did, yep.
And, you know, you're fortunate sometimes, and that's where quarterbacks hurt their elbows or shoulder, and the defender hits the top of your arm or your hand as you're going forward.
So that ends what was looking like a promising drive for the Jets to open up this second half. Now we'll see Miami gain 91 yards in that first half. So a little toss, Ricky Williams finds enough of a seam to pick up 3 into the arms of David Harris.
Well, didn't you think it was interesting as we were talking to Chad Pennington? He talked about Eric Mangini. What was one of the first things he did to Chad Pennington when he became the Jets coach? He brought him in and said, when I was in New England, here's the scouting report.
There's the whole,
we had on you.
Everything, every report, and Chad saved it.
It saved it.
And on his way down to Miami, when he was signed a month ago, he was reading it on the flight down here.
He was reading it, and I'll tell you what, and that scouting report, it was exactly what the Jets said they want to do to him. Keep him in the pocket, try to pressure him in his face, and make him throw it outside the numbers.
And that's Ricky Williams again, working hard to gain 4. It'll be a 3rd and short. A 3rd actually in about 3 coming up, 3rd and 4. And they'll bring Ricky Williams back to the sideline. We've got the right tackle, Vernon Carey, for the Dolphins down on the field. Former first-round pick out of the University of Miami back in 2004. May have been a hit that was inflicted by one of his own teammates. Yeah.
Oh boy.
Yes, Ricky.
It was Ricky Williams, I think.
Yeah. I'll tell you, the depth on that offensive line is an issue for Miami. And Vernon Carey is up, and he's actually jogging off. So good sign.
Yeah, that was a full speed helmet into the hip or the side that Vernon Carey took. That's what a quarterback feels sometimes. But you know, to go back to Chad Pennington too, the other thing the Jets, when the players they talk about him, is a very good before the ball is snapped, deciding what he wants to do. He wants to process information, knows he can get rid of the football quick if he knows what you're doing on defense. So they've been moving around quite a bit today to make sure he has to at least drop back before he can make that decision where to throw the football.
Ike Ndukwe is now the right tackle, the second-year man from Northwestern, replacing Carey. Play action, 3rd and 4, little fling, and the ball is caught, and the forward progress will give him the first down. That's David Martin with the grab for 5 yards to move the chains.
Boy, and pressure, they've got to blow the assignments to the right. 2 defenders coming free, and Chad Pennington just flicks it out there. Nice play, nice throwing the football under pressure. And
now
caught Martin by surprise, but he still makes the catch.
That was Sean Ellis, who just bull rushed right past Ndukwe, who had come in on that very snap. Now right back after one play on the sidelines, Carey resumes the right tackle position. First down and 10 from the 23. Fake to Ricky Williams, who picks up the blitz. Here's the toss, and that was just Pennington getting rid of it. Eric Smith was flying in, and there's Ginn without a catch so far in this game.
Well, he's a work in progress, no question, when you talk about Ted Ginn, but it doesn't matter. The pressure was there. Chad Pennington just throwing it away. No receiver had a chance to do anything down the field to get himself open. You know, Ted Ginn is the You watch Chad Pennington passing by distance. Only one pass 15 yards. But there's a lot of things, a lot of reasons. One, of course, maybe that's not his strength to throw it down the field, but they are not blocking this defensive front very well either.
Second down and 10. Ronnie Brown shifts to the right. Gets about half the yardage necessary. It'll be 3rd and 5 on the way. Pennington, the all-time NFL leader pass completion percentage. He's 8 for 16 today.
It's a pretty good stat. You know, I know the league has changed and we see shorter passes in the NFL. We did 10 years ago and 20 years ago. It tells you a lot about him. To complete 68% of your passes like he did last year, you've got to be a quick, decisive decision maker. That's what he is.
Needs to complete one here. 3rd down and 5. There's a flag thrown as he escapes the pressure and slides for what would have been enough for the first, but we'll check the flag.
Yeah, they're going to bring it back. Holding again.
Holding, offense number 77. 10-yard penalty, still 3rd down.
Well, the first pick in the draft is saying, wait a minute.
Well,
now,
yeah.
you guys, you got me twice now. Once on a trip, once on a hold.
Watch 77-65. Oh, it's the Jets. They cross each other, and the two young offensive linemen get confused. Who's going to block who? And they get the hit and the penalty on the Miami Dolphins. I mean, when you're in Michigan, I know you play good competition, but you don't see defensive ends running around and guys doing everything you see in the NFL. So it's going to take a while to get used to picking some of those blitzes up and those stunts.
That's now 2 Pennington runs, 2 scrambles for first downs that have been nullified by penalties on long. 3rd down and forever, and that's not going to be anywhere close to enough as Cobbs makes the catch and is tackled at the 27. Gain of 9.
Man, it's work, isn't it? I mean, it's work. I'm watching the Dolphins. They are just trying to overcome penalties, missed assignments, an awful kicking game really so far today.
What's running through his mind?
Well, we couldn't put a graphic up, that's for sure.
Oh, almost got to him.
Another low kick.
There's Ahmad Carroll crashing in on the kicker, but no contact, and Leon Washington fields it at the 31. 51-yard punt, 8-yard return.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Southwest Airlines. Low fares, no hidden fees. Geico, 15 minutes could save you 15% on car insurance. And by Charles Schwab, premium service. Expect it, don't pay it. Talk to Chuck, Charles Schwab.
We're back at Dolphin Stadium. Jim Nantz and Phil Simms here. And you can check out the new and improved NFL.com Game Center with Red Zone Audio and Big Play Ticker. It's all exclusively at NFL.com. Now, the Jets were driving the last time before a Favre fumble turned it back over to the Dolphins. This is their second series of the second half, and it's Leon Washington. And it was hard to get him down. A lot of running for only a yard, maybe not even that. Channing Crowder running right down the line with him.
You know, as you watch this game, Jim, the first drive by the Jets, they're making plays, they fumble, and then you watch the Dolphins offense. Like I said, it's work. It's so hard for them. So if the Jets going against a young team, if they could just put another score up, that's when you take advantage of situations and you hope to get maybe an easy victory out of it.
Approaching 6 minutes to go in the third quarter. Seems like the Jets have been in control, but they only lead by 6. Second down at 10. Favre flings, caught, and
And that's Chris Baker with the catch. Third down coming up. Again, an update. New England and Kansas City. Back to James Brown in New York.
Hey, Jim and Phil, Matt Castle guiding the Patriots downfield on their first series of the second half. 11 plays, 80 yards, 5-yard run by Sammy Mars, 14-3. Brody Coyle, right shoulder contusion for Kansas City. Damon Hewitt in his stead. Back to Jim and Phil.
So Brody Croyle is questionable to return in that game. Hewitt comes in with Brady getting knocked out with a leg injury in the first half. Third down and 4. A snap from the 38. Here comes the heat. Favre gets it away. Nice catch by Contry. And they'll mark him at the 50.
Wow, nice catch. Movement by the Jets offense creates the open receiver. But again, I know I say it a lot, but Brett Favre falling backwards under pressure, throws it with a perfect pace and lets Contry run to it. Because this Miami defense, they are getting pressure on him. But there's a reason why he has started, what is it, 6,000 games in a row or whatever without getting hurt, because he just knows how to avoid hits.
Contry now with 80 yards on 3 grabs and that touchdown that covered 56 yards. Right at midfield with Jones in the backfield and the handoff to Jones. Push back right at the line of scrimmage for no gain. Making Adele with the hit. Well, that whole kicker situation for the Jets. Look at Mike Nugent. He's somehow back out there, trying to loosen up a little bit. What we've been told is a thigh bruise.
You know, sometimes when the coaches yell at you enough, you find a way to get it done.
Say, you know what? I think my leg's all right. Again, if you're just joining us, the Jets did not even try for the PAT with Nugent out. They went for 2 and failed. And here's the procedure penalty coming against New York.
Offense number 81. 5-yard penalty till second down.
That's one of their first rounders, Dustin Keller, the rookie from Purdue. He was the second of their 2 first rounders with Golston, Vernon Golston, the linebacker out of Ohio State, the 6th overall pick, who has seen spot duty here today and has not had his name called, number called a number of times at all.
I thought we would see some downfield throws to Dustin Keller, but he, like you said, not really been part of the plan. And if he is, I know certain plays he's not getting open.
It's a 2nd and 15. Favre working the sidelines. Holds, trying to reel it in with one hand, and there is a flag. Andre Goodman on the coverage. Favre did one of those falling back passes and just threw a frozen rope. About 40 yards it traveled in the air.
Pass interference. Defense number 21. The spot of foul, automatic. First down.
This is a big one, but that throw was right on the mark, and Goodman pushed off and is called for the interference.
Top of your screen, it looks like he gets a hold of Lavernius Cole's right arm. Boy, tough to see, but I always say this. When you're on the field and you see it live and you're an official, it has a whole different view. But that did not, it looked like they both were pushing against each other.
That replay has the crowd here restless. First down carry by Thomas Jones, advances it inside the 30. A 3-yard gain.
You know, Jim, you're just talking about Brett Favre. He just kind of was off balance and slung it out there. It's just the way he grips the football. He keeps his arm loose. He's got big hands, so he can just kind of do what he wants with it. And that's why you see him hold it over his head, avoiding rushers, and doesn't fumble, a great deal for a guy that's a little careless with the football sometimes, but they should understand why he's throwing off balance.
They work Jones again. They try the right side, the Damian Woody side. And what about these, that picks up 2. Got a 3rd down on the way, 3rd and about 5. What about the Woody and Faneca acquisitions in the offseason?
Well, it's big. The Jets have put a lot into this season, and of course Brett Favre topped it off. But they needed to be a more consistent pass blocking line, but to be more dominant. And if your line gets to be where it's really good, you get better situations in games, and it helps your defense. It helps the coach manage the whole game a lot better too.
Again, they may be looking at 2 downs to pick up the first with this kicking situation unresolved. 3rd down and 5. The catch, the bump into the back judge, and that is Chancey Stuckey, who caught that touchdown in the first half with some nifty maneuvering for 15 yards.
We saw what Brett Favre was talking about to us last night. He goes, you know, he's a lot like Wes Welker. I go, boy, I don't know, that's a pretty big statement there. But watch the quick feet. The quick release by Brett Favre gets him open, and then the movement, which it's always hard. It's always hard to make defenders in this league miss when they're all coming at you. And he had to avoid the referee too.
Yeah, he just bounced right off the umpire, Dan Farrell. So the Jets are set up now, just outside the 10. Jones, middle. Got about halfway home. Ridden down by Kendall Langford. Jeremiah Bell also comes up. We're inside of 2 minutes to go in the third quarter.
Well, I'll say this. We heard it in the pregame. Dan Marino did a piece. I talked about Brett Favre. He got 75% of the offense. They've shown a lot of it today. A lot of variations, formations, concepts, and it's kept the Dolphins off guard as you look at the red zone offense of the New York Jets.
They can pick up the first just outside the goal line. 2nd down and 5. Jones pushes away. Goes in for the touchdown. Matches his touchdown total of a year ago. And they're bringing out Mike Nugent. Thomas Jones scored 1 touchdown rushing last year. That was here.
Well, the difference between running backs in the NFL, the good ones can get around. They can get around the unblocked defensive player. Thomas Jones with a straight arm, able to get around, and definitely has the speed to take it outside and get it done.
All right, Nugent. Graham on the hold. Is good. So 20-7, while number 20 takes it in. 45 yards rushing in this quarter alone, and the Jets have opened up a 13-point lead.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Pizza Hut. It's true. Pizza Hut is now delivering Tuscany pastas. Order today. And by Frost Brewed Coors Light, the world's most refreshing beer.
Now the Jets have Nugent out there to handle the kickoff. That's Bess moving up, anticipating a short kick. From off the dirt, just a short run up. Nugent. That's all he wants to do. That's the only effort he wants to exert at this time. But Miami will still have it at the 41-yard line. Thomas Jones thanking his offensive line as he takes it across for the touchdown. And look at this. This is typical Eric Mangini with the details. Holding up the screen here and
put the players in shade. Hey,
absolutely.
You know what? I think it's a terrific idea. That's done. We got a taste of it this weekend. When you're out in it, it's hot's not a good word for it.
Yeah, the heat index again down on that field now is over 100. Look out from behind. Pennington felt the pressure, and the pass batted down by Eric Barton. And Eric Smith in there. David Harris and Golston putting on some pressure. Here's an update in New York.
Hey, Jim and Phil, Damon Hewitt, you know, in for the injured. Brody Croyle hooks up here with a bullet to Dwayne Bowe, 13-yard strike, 10 plays, 63 yards, 14-10 now. New England nursing a 4-point lead over KC. Jim and Phil.
All right, thank you, James. He does it every time. Damon Hewitt comes in. First time he has it, takes it down the field. There's a completion to Anthony Fasano, and Miami moves into New York territory. Gain of 11.
Yeah, nice job by Fasano and Chad Pennington. They really need to try to get some momentum back on their side. Good pass protection. And timing, when you throw it on time and you're really accurate, hard for a defense to break it up or stop it.
Jets offense moved it both times in this quarter. Fumbled it the first time, drove for a touchdown the second. Now, that may have been coming back to the quarterback. Ricky Williams, though, swamped by Calvin Pace. And that'll probably close out the quarter.
That was a flea flicker, and I think the Jets had it. We'll show it to him when we come back. Ted Ginn Jr. got behind the defense.
That's through 3 now, 20-7 New York. You're watching the NFL on CBS. Starting the fourth quarter, Favre has already thrown for $180 and 2 touchdowns. From Green Bay to Jet Green, it still works. Pennington with a touchdown pass, but his young supporting cast making some sloppy mistakes. We start the fourth quarter with Miami near midfield, 2nd down and 11.
Yeah, the Dolphins have shown, you know what, a new coach, first-year coach, and a young team, some of the mistakes they've made, they have done it today.
Play action fake, and has to sidearm it to get that pass around the oncoming pressure of Calvin Pace.
Pass pressure, it wins football games in the league. Ted Ginn Jr. going down. It's a flea flicker. What do you think? You be the judge. I do not think he sees him. Once a defender squares up, awfully hard to turn and run with maybe one of the fastest guys on the Dolphins team.
Looked like Ricky Williams may have run too deep with that football. I mean, he was right on the defensive line. He had no chance of getting that back.
Penetration by the defensive line did it.
3rd down and 11. Again, the emphatic fake. The pass is underneath. And really driving for that 1st down, but going to come up short is Fasano. And what will they do here?
You punt it.
Coach Sperano.
Don't even think. I said, oh my gosh, I don't want to just. You punt it.
4th and 4. They're bringing out Fields.
And you know, so many reasons why. Field position. You're still just 2 scores down. Chad Pennington, good job not forcing it there. You're going to get the football at least 2 more times in this game.
There is a flag as the punt travels to the 14-yard line. A flag down at the 41-yard line. On 4th and 4, let's see what the flag is.
I saw a Jet defender running off the field. He did not make it.
Oh.
And I saw Eric Mangini turn into somebody and yelling.
And it's going to end up giving Miami the 1st down. Well, there's another reason you just don't go for it. You never know. You know, look how this worked out.
There was no foul for 12 men on the field defense. The man leaving was the 11th. Timeout.
There you go.
Okay.
They didn't need 11. They only wanted 10.
So. Next Sunday on CBS, it's a doubleheader day. Indianapolis anchors the early window. Up to Minnesota they go. Colts, Vikings. Many will see that. Most of the nation will see in the doubleheader game New England and the Jets. And of course, it all starts at noon Eastern time with the NFL Today. The Jets lead it here 20-7. 14 minutes to go in the game. Starting this drive from the 14. Jones butts heads with Langford and no gain. You start thinking about this now. This certainly is not over, but next week the Jets could be going home 1-0 and maybe taking on the Patriots without Tom Brady.
Yeah, well, what we saw today, Tom Brady leaving the field and not coming back, I would say the chances are pretty good. Not going to, well, let me just.
Yeah, you just never know, but
you don't know.
Yeah.
I'm not going to speculate on that.
And of course, the Patriots will never let you know, right?
That's true.
2nd down and 10. Leon Washington assumes the back positions, and Faneca moved a little early. Gives us a chance now.
Number 66. 5-yard penalty is still 2nd down.
Off the penalty. To talk about Faneca and the recruitment process, Coach Mangini, visiting with us last night, talked about how, you know, it's almost really sounded like a college head coach. The way they went out and treated Faneca on his trip to New York when he came in.
Well, the first thing they did to really sell him is they gave him a lot of money. So that's first.
But he did say there were bigger offers out there.
Yeah, bigger offers, but they would show the free agents their new facility, what they're going to move into, the quality of life you could lead around it, and I think that was a big point with a lot of players.
In the backfield, they throw it to Washington. Makes the juke to get free. That move picks up an additional 10 yards as he left Chris Crocker standing there and gains 13 yards.
Well, situation. Brett Favre knows the score. Not going to take any chances throwing it down the field, and quickness by Leon Washington to make extra yards. Oh my gosh. Well, he did get an arm on him. But you know, think about it. I don't care who you are. Oh, tackling's bad. How are you going to tackle that?
You can't.
Of course you can't.
He's got one of the great wiggles in the NFL. He's had some good performances the last 2 years down here, Leon. Over to Thomas Jones, and they're not going to pick up the first down. Reggie Torbor was the one that knocked him out. Loses 4 yards.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Jim. The young team, they're hanging in there. And the defense has had some very bright moments today. You can see the defensive line. Kendall Langford, just a rookie. He's been a factor. Just a whole new concept. The 3-4 defense overall has done pretty well today.
Ginn is back to receive the punt from Graham. Ginn did run one back last year as a rookie. Had 8 returns at Ohio State, but nowhere this time. Hit almost immediately by Wallace Wright.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored in high definition by Sony. High definition, it's in Sony's DNA. Sprint, get NFL Mobile Live only from Sprint, only on the Now Network. And by Ford, Drive One.
You know, coming up after football, we'll have the U.S. Open men's semifinal, the continuation of the match with Nadal and Murray. Murray won the first 2 sets, but Nadal up a break in the third. That comes up after football. Then tonight at 9 o'clock Eastern, the women's final, and tomorrow at 5 Eastern, you'll see the men's championship right here on the home of the U.S. Open, CBS. Now, the Dolphins receivers in this game have 2 catches for 25 yards. That's all.
Well, the team's been built from the inside out.
Now they're going to go for one right here. Down the field and over the head again. Great coverage again by Rivas. We've got an update. Let's go back to James Brown in New York.
Jim and Phil, I know Phil can appreciate this. Take a look at Drew Brees here. Play action going up top, looking for Devery Henderson. The defense falls down. He takes it 84 yards is the pass play. 17-13 Saints start of the fourth. Saints lost their first 4 games last year. Back to Jim and Phil.
Well, they move in front with that one, JB. The only catch of the game for Henderson. Shockey, by the way, has 6 catches for the Saints today for 54.
Good fit down there. Sean Payton, offensive coordinator or head coach and coordinator with Jeremy Shockey. But the Miami Dolphins, Jim, you talked about the wide receivers. When I say they built their team inside out, offensive and defensive lines first, then go out to the skill guys.
They had to call timeout. The down clock was about to expire. Eric Mangini, Tony Sperano. Boy, they have some common bonds, don't they? Eric born in Hartford, Tony born in West Haven, about an hour away. Both grew up in homes that were big Giant fans. Eric played at Wesleyan University in Middletown. Tony was a letterman at the University of New Haven, where he coached later. Yeah. And they both began their coaching careers on the Cleveland staff, and they have, of course, the Parcells ties as well. Second down here for the Dolphins. With 12 minutes to go, down 20-7. Taking the line right back to Ronnie Brown. And that's David Harris on his back, but not until he has the first. A gain of 13 yards. And what do you think, Sperano? Obviously, when Coach Parcells came in right at the end of last regular season with a week to go, you knew, you know, he was going to have the fingerprints all over that position. Someone he was going to be comfortable turning over to. I'll be anxious to hear what you think he's going to bring to this franchise. Here's the pass. Bennington bobbled, but then caught by Fasano and then thrown down by Harris, about a yard shy of the first.
I'll make it quick. As Joey Porter would say, the culture of the team has changed. The environment's different. everybody is held accountable every day. They put pressure on the guys at practice. They want them to practice well. And Tony Sperano he's honest with the players. He tells them right away if he doesn't like something. Don't pat him on the back and say, good job.
Wide open, Fasano rumbles inside the 20, and there is a flag. Eric Barton may have hit the quarterback late.
Roughing the Pelser, helmet-to-helmet contact. Defense number 50. From into the run, 15 yards. Half the distance to the goal, automatic. First down.
This will set up Miami near the 10-yard line.
It does. Good formation. Really confused the Jets again. And Eric Barton, helmet to helmet, you can see it. And Brian Thomas goes out to try to cover Ronnie Brown. That leaves Fasano wide open inside.
First and goal to go.
And now Dan Henning, offensive coordinator. You're watching the game. The Miami Dolphins approach it. We have 4 downs. And I think that's how they'll look at this. You call the plays accordingly.
They empty out the backfield. Here comes the rush. And they deck him back at the 18-yard line. Calvin Pace comes barreling in. And yet another big off-season acquisition.
Yes, they crowd the line of scrimmage, and when you play a team, the 3-4, that means 4 linebackers, offensive players. It's more difficult to try to figure out who you're going to block when you have 4 linebackers standing up and moving around. And Calvin Pace on the outside. Well, he looks like a defensive lineman, but he's playing a linebacker position.
That was a loss of 6. They mark it at the 16.
Now he's going to call another timeout.
That leaves him only with 1. So timeout Miami. Just inside 10 minutes remaining.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Michelin, a better way forward, and by DirecTV. If you call yourself a sports fan, you gotta get DirecTV.
Game management so important. Watch Chad Pennington telling the line who we're going to block up, which linebacker. He's going, where are you? Where's Ronnie Brown? He went the wrong way.
Wow.
And of course, Chad Pennington knows the situation. Yeah, Eric Martin says he knows too. You don't send everybody into the boundary in the NFL. And the Dolphins, they could still pull this out. But man, they have made every mistake a young team that a first-year coach doesn't want to see. But a lot of these things come along with youth.
It doesn't surprise you, I know that.
No, not at all.
Second and goal from the 16. Fasano becoming a favorite target. Hauls it in at the 3. The third and goal from there.
Well, that was nice. Anthony Fasano, just Dan Henning has always found ways to throw it to the tight end, whether he's with the Jets, wherever he's been. And Chad Pennington, nice job, good protection, looks left, comes back to his right. And they got to be thinking, if you're on the Dolphins team, if you're a runner, they hand you the ball, don't lose any yardage. Knowing you might go for it on 4th.
It's Ricky Williams, the running back. Going up top, right side, and went for the rookie, and no flag.
Boy, that's tough.
Dwight Lowry on the coverage, intended for Devon Bess.
They stacked the receivers. Devon Bess, the defender, I couldn't see which corner it was. Dwight Lowry was on him. Does he find the football? He turns and finds it. That's a good no call.
Pretty impressive day here, you have to say, for Dwight Lowry.
Oh, yeah. I think Eric Mancini, his body language last night, he said Justin Miller won't start to be Dwight Lowry. His body language suggested, I feel pretty good about him playing.
All right, here we go, 4th and goal. Rolling out, throwing, and knocked down. What a defensive play, and it's Lowry again. What a find he appears to be out of the 4th round from San Jose State. Back-to-back breakups, and the Jets take over on downs. Now at San Jose State, Dick Tomey, his coach, once had Chris McAllister at the University of Arizona, but he called Lowry every bit as good a player.
Wow, that's saying something. But, and you know he's had a chance. You're going to find out about him today, because the Miami Dolphins have tested him. And you know, almost every time, all the passes have been designed to go to his side. A lot of them, I should say. And when given the opportunity in man-to-man coverage, he has been there, and nothing bigger than that last play.
Even earlier, and you remember the first half, he just was able to come off a block and shut down a reverse. So, number of stellar plays by Lowry. You think about the Dolphins on that drive, they burn 2 timeouts and then have 2 cracks really from, let's call it the 2-yard line, and they fail to score. Lowry makes the last 2 plays, get the ball back to the Jets offense. 9 minutes to go, up 13.
You know, Jim, just Lowry going across the formation and chasing the receiver, undercutting him at the, knowing that's the only dance, and that's all the receiver could do is go towards the sideline.
False start. Offense, number 74. Half the distance to the goal. Still first down.
So the ball at the 1.
Well, Nick Mangold centered. I couldn't tell. I was almost expecting you, even though in your end zone, you got to be careful as the visiting quarterback. Maybe Brett Favre was trying to get a quick or a cheap 5 yards.
1st and 11. A little room out near the 5. You know, when Favre tells you in the meeting yesterday that he knows about 75% of the playbook, you wonder how much will that increase by next week.
Well, as I said earlier, nice view what it looks like for a running back. That's a big hole in the NFL if you're watching at home. But as I said, Jim, I've been impressed with the Jets offense. It's been diversified. They've done a lot of different things, and Brett Favre to this point has played extremely well.
He's going to throw from the goal line, and ball is caught by Bubba Franks. Matt Roth on the hit. Still going to be a 3rd down coming up for New York.
You know what was interesting? All the years that Brett Favre has been in the game, and we were talking about the receiver in his head, in the helmet of the quarterback. He doesn't care. Brian DeBall, the offensive coach, called him in. He says he can give me all the information he wants. Remind me of stuff. I like it all. So I was kind of surprised to hear that.
He's liking the chain of communication, the way it's going here in New York. The run for it, and won't get it. Philip Merling tackles Leon Washington. Merling, a rookie out of Clemson, taken in the 2nd round.
Boy, Philip Merling, you're right, defensive lineman, stays his ground. Oh, just does a terrific job against Alan Faneca. Holds him up, waits for the run to come to him, makes the tackle. Kendall Langford, you've heard his name. Jake Long, the 1st round draft pick. A lot of young guys have played well for the Dolphins today.
Ted Ginn, can he make a play? Been nearly invisible in this one without a catch, without a significant run back. Graham with the boot. This is returnable. Ginn judges it. Well, he doesn't. He runs away from it. And that gets a rather unhappy response here. 45-yard punt. Ball spotted at the 47. Next Saturday, the Home Depot SEC on CBS returns. Georgia will take on South Carolina. The action begins with Tim Brando and Spencer Tillman, our guys in the studio on the TIAA College Football Today. Georgia, South Carolina, that's next week, right here on CBS. So 6:48 to go. There's still time. And again, Miami drove it last time down to the 2 and failed to get it across. 2 plays from the 2. Look to Ronnie Brown. Brian Thomas wraps him up.
Yeah, it's a good. The Dolphins knowing they need to make plays. The Jets come with the blitz. Chad Pennington has to hold the football as he gives his receivers time to go down the field, and again, missed assignments up front leads to another sack.
Miami has 1 timeout. It's at 6:15 on the clock. Clear it out for Pennington. Dancing around. There's Ken with a catch. He gets in the books, but there's not much to talk about with that one.
Well, what you talk about is a well-coached defense, and what they did that time, since there's nobody back there to help Chad Pennington or protect him, the Jets just get Drew Coleman on the outside. He comes in untouched.
We're talking about Lowry on the one side, and as you see, Bob Sutton, the defensive coordinator, and the high praise that he had from his college coach, Coach Tomey. But then you think about Revis today. I mean, he has been right in the face again every time they've attempted to go that way. Revis is just locked in on him.
Well, as we said, Ted Ginn Jr. is a work in progress.
3rd and 14. Pennington rolls out, connects with Camarillo at the 50, and that's 7 yards short of the first. David Harris coming in on the hit, shaking up a little bit.
Yeah, right here, you go for it on 4th down. You need 2 scores. Do you think you can punt and still get the football back twice and score? It'll take 2 touchdowns. So easy decision for Tony Sparano to say go for it on 4th.
He's got to go for it now, as you say, inside of 5 minutes. They need to get to the 43 for the first. That time able to get a little separation off of Revis. That gains 14 and the first down.
Boy, you said it right. Finally, they got some time, and it was one-on-one on the outside. Chad Pennington notices it right away, and when you got speed, I don't care how young you are and whoever you're going against, it scares you a little bit. So Darrelle Revis, knowing the situation, knowing they're up 13, lets him have the outside route.
Ricky Williams, the running back, 37-yard line. Big fake, pass down the field, coming up and grabbing it for the catch and the first is David Martin. That's a 13-yard gain. Pennington with a little urgency now. Gets his team squared away to the line.
Sorry, Mike.
Miami offense, they've had a few very good looking drives, rhythm, where they just do a little bit of everything, keeps the Jets defense off balance.
Back to Fasano, and he's decked at the 11 by Eric Smith. Another 12 yards.
Chad Pennington watching Brett Favre doing his own invitation, kind of whipping it out there sidearm off his back foot. Very good throw.
Fasano now 7 for 75, 7 catches and a touchdown. First down at the 11. To Ricky Williams, and not quite there. He was running out of the backfield with David Harris in pursuit.
He had him. That's what you wanted. It fooled David Harris. Ricky Williams, of course, not a big target, so you got to be right on the money. But Chad Pennington led him like a wide receiver instead of leading him back like a running back. Running backs, most of the time, Jim, when you throw it down the field to them, you got to stick them. Where you just look at them and fire it right at them. That's what I'd do for you if you went out for a pass.
I'll be able to catch it. You're still throwing some heat underhanded even. There's Pennington hitting through it, and oh, what a throw it is! Touchdown! David Martin. What an effort by Pennington. Calvin Pace was coming in on the quarterback.
Well, there's no doubt that Chad Pennington can throw under pressure because he is doing it a lot today. This drive, a couple completions were just terrific examples of it. Calvin Pace in his face. Stayed relaxed and threw it with the perfect touch and pace to the football where it gets him a touchdown.
Carpenter, extra point good. 120 yards throwing in this quarter by Pennington. Favre was hoping his defense could make one more stop. They had that big 4th down conversion, did the Dolphins, but now the Jets have to sweat it out.
Yeah, another blitz. Here comes the blitz, one-on-one coverage. And Martin just so big that it's hard to get around him. It's like blocking out, going for a rebound in basketball. Coverage was good. Said it early in the game. Hard to defend, a perfect pass, and that's what that was.
And that was right over Lowry.
And you know what it does too? It puts the pressure back on the Jets. That's what you always want to do, where when you get in situations late in the game, you kick a field goal when you're 2 scores down, sometimes early, because you want to make the other team keep playing. And now you're the Jets coaches, you're Brett Favre. Well, what do? You know, do I be aggressive in my play calling?
Got a lot of things that float through the mind, and that point after certainly looming large at the moment. Remember, Miami again can only stop the clock once plus the 2-minute warning. This kick bouncing around, finally fielded at the 7. Pass the first wave, Washington only out to the 17, so the special teams come up with the big stop behind the 20. Brett Favre with 2 touchdown passes, both in the first half. The airing it out pass to Cotchery. And then a 1 on 4th and 13, escaping the pressure, finding Stuckey. But let's hear it also for the other side. Pennington has matched him with 2 touchdown passes of his own. Yeah, the fans here haven't had this kind of excitement to cheer for in a couple of years. Encouraging that defense. Thomas Jones hips and hops out for about 4 yards into the arms of Crowder.
Yeah, you're talking about 1 first down. That's all it takes to really end the game for the New York Jets. And your play calling, Jim, you think about it, the Jets need a touchdown. So that goes into the whole makeup of managing what you're doing right now. I mean, the Miami Dolphins need a touchdown, sorry.
2nd down and 6. That's Jones. 3rd down is coming up. Now, will they call timeout now before the 2-minute warning? You do. Go ahead and take it now.
It really doesn't matter. You look at it and say, okay, it's about the same. I would just go ahead and let it go to the 2-minute warning and then use my timeout.
That's what they're going to do. They'll save that 1 timeout. 2 minutes to go at Dolphin Stadium, and a 3rd and 2 coming up in a moment. You know, the only thing I'd say about that strategy with that timeout, if you happen to take it right after the tackle, and they say there's 2:30 to go, and the Jets throw an incompletion here, you would have all that extra seconds
you'd have a couple
to work
plays.
with. Yes, a couple plays on your side.
You made a good point. It was a good point, and it's correct.
Well, here we go.
A first down would seal it. 3rd and 2. Jones. Oh, there's a hold on. Procedure penalty first against the Jets.
5-yard penalty is still served out.
Damian Woody moved. Do you think Chad Pennington, talk about a dream scenario for the former Jet quarterback, wouldn't love one last shot, take it right down the field against the team that released him? 3rd and 7. Like to welcome those of you who saw Kansas City and New England. Jets need 7 yards for the first down, not going to come close. And Miami now uses its last timeout. The Dolphins were down 20-7 and then drove down the field minutes ago with Pennington connecting on a crucial 4th down play to extend the drive and then hitting his tight end David Martin for a touchdown. Now they're able to stop the Jets and get the ball back with still a lot of time, but no timeouts on their side. Ginn was the one who caught the ball on a big 4th and 7 play on that last drive for Miami. James Durth to snap it to Ben Graham. Kicking game has been shoddy on each side today. That was an awkward snap.
You got to field the punt.
Weird kick as well. Big bounce Ginn. Ginn straight ahead, and they got him by the shoelaces. There is a flag. 51-yard punt. A low driving kick. Mod Carroll on the tackle.
I couldn't talk fast enough, Jim. I wanted to say move up. How many punts have been soaring through the air today? None? Maybe one?
Yeah, maybe one. I think probably the first one of the game by Graham.
Maybe these guys are not used to kicking the new footballs that you have to kick here. Well, they kicked them in preseason, so it shouldn't be that big of a deal.
Now, for those of you just joining us, the Jets have 20 points, 3 touchdowns, and a missed 2-point try.
And also remember the kicking team out of bounds on a punt. Miami's elected to kick it at the dead ball spot. 5-yard penalty, first down.
Now, in the first half, Mike Nugent, the Jets place kicker, missed a 32-yard field goal and strained a thigh on the kick and was unable to even be an option at that point in the second quarter when the Jets were driving down the field. In fact, they spurned a chance for a field goal of about 40 yards and went for it on a 4th and 13 and scored a touchdown on the play. A 22-yard pass from Favre to rookie Chancey Stuckey. But on the extra point, no. They went for 2 because Nugent wasn't available, and they failed. Now, Nugent did come back here in this half and add the PAT on the Jets' lone score in the second half after a Thomas Jones run from 5 yards away.
Jim, just and you're to go back, one of the Jet defenders ran out of bounds without being blocked out of bounds, and that's why it's a 5-yard penalty against the kicking team.
All set up now for Pennington. Got a chance to really get one back here on his old team. From the 39, sets up screen. Ricky Williams. Tackle behind the line of scrimmage by Kerry Rhodes. Lost 2. And again, they can't stop the clock.
That's right. What a job by Kerry Rhodes. Diagnosed it and just outran the blockers to Ricky Williams and made the tackle.
From the pocket, the throw. What a catch. What a catch right around David Barrett. That's Camarillo kind of hiding behind the defender and then reaching around for 13 yards.
Yeah, he was covered well, but David Barrett never saw the football.
Got a minute to go. Miami trying to drive for the victory. Pass lobbed over the top, and Ricky Williams hauls it in for a first down and out of bounds at the 35 to stop the clock with 52 seconds.
Boy, nice play call. They come back to it because of the coverage. but it was with a different linebacker covering Ricky Williams.
This is the one to Camarillo, able to somehow get off of Barrett and pull it in for the first, and then this one with just the right touch to Ricky Williams.
How about that? Ricky Williams, what did he say? I visualized catching the ball the night before the game.
First down from the New York 35.
Good job there.
Pennington across the middle and another completion to Fasano. They're going to hurry to the line. It's about a yard shy of the first.
He's going to run a play. He's not going to spike the football. But if you pick up a first down, of course, then they must spike it.
That's Ronnie Brown. He does not go to the sideline. Ronnie Brown, and did they give him a spot out? He gets out of bounds. That was a questionable decision, but he was able to get back and get out.
Yeah, and he's lucky that it stopped the clock because his forward progress was stopped in the field. Watch.
I thought he would go right to the sideline there. He goes around David Harris.
He might not have been able to, but watch here the hit. Forward progress is stopped. It knocks him backwards where he goes out of bounds.
Well, on a day where really all the focus, the majority of the focus, we should say, has been on Favre, it's a chance for Pennington to win it. 163 yards passing in this quarter. He's going toward the end zone and almost intercepted. That was Drew Coleman.
The idea was right, but Drew Coleman, hard for a quarterback to see this, the angle, so he comes underneath him.
Going for David Martin.
David Martin down the middle, right, the tight end going up the field.
They've got time for, you would think, 3 more throws.
Yes, they do. Unless somebody gets caught inside.
Of course, a sack could virtually end it. So here we go. From the 18. Pennington. Pass incomplete. And is there a flag? No. Of course, had that ball been caught, I'm not sure they would have been able to even get another play off, because it could have been an immediate tackle on the spot in the field of play.
It's just a good play by Kerry Rhodes. Kerry Rhodes is about 6'3", and he can really cover ground. He just beats the football to the spot. And look how close it was in slow motion. So at full speed, there's no difference.
13 seconds. You got to
go to the sideline or the end zone, no question.
Timeout called by the Jets. That play clock was actually running down on Pennington. They were down about 3 seconds on that. Tonight on CBS, 60 Minutes, Big Brother 10 with Julie Chen hosting, and then the women's final at the United States Open. Miami with 1 win all of last year. And you know what's an oddity? The last 6 teams that went 1-15 won the first game the following year. They need to pick up 18 yards, touchdown, and a PAT, and they could become the 7th straight. And what a win it would be for Pennington if he could somehow manage to get these final 18 yards.
Of course, he's played terrific, I think, all day today, except for that shaky start when nerves or being careful came into play. The Jets called a timeout because they want to go over how do we want to approach this final 2 plays. And do we blitz and go after him? I wouldn't. I would sit back and make them complete 2 passes into our coverage to try to win.
I don't know that you can catch one in the field of play and get back to the line in time for another snap. Here we go, 18 seconds.
Well, they're going to play an umbrella defense, so they're going to try to take away the outside.
Pennington from the pocket. Has time, lobs it to the corner. Rivas with the coverage, and Rivas pulls it down one-handed, but a flag. But a flag. He was going for Ted Ginn. Will it be offensive? Rivas had boxed him out.
Pass interference. Offense, number 19 is declined. Play results in a touchback. First down.
Darrelle Revis saves it. Saves the day here for the Jets.
Well, the corner saved the day for the New York Jets.
Didn't they? Oh, my goodness.
They did. He's in perfect position. And why this couldn't be against the defender, he has got the position. He is playing the football. And Ted Ginn Jr., what it was, did you see him grab? He grabs the left arm. Well, he's trying to pull him down. Didn't pull hard enough. And Chad Pennington, nobody open, knows the situation, under pressure, throws a jump ball out to Ted Ginn Jr.
What a play by Revis. Had completely boxed him out, if you will. And Brett Favre is going to pick up his first win as a Jet in Dan Marino's old stadium. A man whose virtually every record he broke. 2 touchdown passes to give number 4 now 444 career touchdown passes. An opening win that came down to the final seconds. Revis showing why the Jets had him so highly rated a year ago out of Pittsburgh.
Well, Jim, he showed it last year.
He did.
We saw it when he played against Terrell Owens at Thanksgiving Day down in Dallas.
The Jets win it 20-14 coming up the NFL today. We'll be going back to James Brown and the crew in the studio. That's 5 straight wins. The Jets over the Dolphins. Jets will go home to take on New England next week. Miami will travel to Arizona. For Phil Simms, this is Jim Nance saying so long from Dolphin Stadium. You've been watching the NFL on CBS.